Good morning. Welcome to day 4 of the Healthy Hormones Jumpstart, and today we are talking all about toxin overload. So toxin overload and detox, forgot to include that in there. This whole week has really been building on itself. So just as a recap, a refresher, day 1 we talked about stress and how that affects our body and therefore our hormones. Day 2 we talked about diet and a little bit of exercise along with that. Yesterday we talked about gut health and digestion, and today we're going to talk about toxin overload and detox. And like I said, I hope all of these things are building on each other. All of these things are really making sense about how they all fit together. And I hope that today is no different. So let's dive into toxin overload / detox. So are toxins real? If you're in the Facebook group, I posted last night a list of probably 15 or 20 toxins that and kind of where they come from and all. Yes, toxins are very real. And we are around toxins all the time and really foreign contaminants, let's call it. So just to name a few, think about like flame retardants that are on a lot of furniture now and a lot of clothes. That's something that has been known to be a toxin and a carcinogen. Household cleaners can be very toxic. Beauty products have lots of chemicals in them now. I have a whole graph and a little list that I'm going to show you. If you're over in the Facebook group, that's what I want to tell you guys on Instagram. If you're not in the Facebook group, you want to join because I share more resources over there. So I'm going to be posting a list of, it kind of just has the different beauty products that you commonly use and how many chemicals those contain on average, which is very shocking. Something like blush or like foundation can contain up to 40 different toxins, kind of crazy. Laundry, like cleaning type of agents. Food can definitely contain toxins and different preservatives and things like that. Water. Vaccines contain heavy metals, amongst other things. Our air quality can have toxic effects to us if it's not properly cleaned and we're in an environment that has all of these chemicals in the air. There's so many places, honestly, that we come in contact with them every day. And I hope that you understand that nobody can live a perfect life, right? I mean, we're out and about, we're out in the world. We come in contact with these things, but I want you to understand what they do, and I want you to understand how you can take action against having this buildup of toxins in your body, because we all have that. We all tend to have this buildup, but what can we do about it? So we're going to go into that in just a few minutes. So basically, there's so many different and new toxins now in the world that we live in versus even 30 years ago, definitely 60 or 100 years ago. I mean, it's insane. And there's on average 62 chemicals that are carcinogenic and harmful to our health in our house. But that's the reason why 1 in 2 people is predicted in the year 2030 will actually have cancer. And it's because our bodies just simply cannot keep up. Yes, we're talking about hormones here, but cancer is on the rise. And there's different types of cancer that are linked to unbalanced hormones, and that can cause your body to go in that direction. But we are literally born toxic. They did a study in babies. I don't know how long ago it was. It was pretty recent. And they found that over 200 chemicals were actually in the baby's umbilical cord at birth. So we're literally born toxic now. And so it's something that I don't want to say we'll always have to fight against, but we kind of will, because we live in this world now. And all the new toxins, only 2% of those have actually been tested. I know that, if you've kind of looked into this, other countries have really done way more testing and are way more stringent on the things that are allowed in foods and in cosmetics and things like that versus the United States. So it's really a problem, more so I would say here even than in other countries. So let's chat about what it does to your body and your hormones specifically. So long story short, toxins just simply put a stress on your body, like we talked about in day 1. So if you have not watched all the other days, you might really want to go back to day 1 especially, because I kind of set everything up on day 1 and kind of tell you how putting stress on your body really affects your hormones in a big way. But in short, that's really what toxins do. Toxin overload does to your body is just put stress on it. But let's look at a few different ways. So increased inflammation in your body is pretty much present whenever you have toxins. You come in contact with them or you have them built up. Like it's just a constant state of inflammation. And they also disrupt gut bacteria. And we talked about that yesterday and how that can affect, and really it puts stress on your body as well. And when you have disrupted gut bacteria, you can have leaky gut. We talked about that. You can go back to day 3 call to listen to more about that. And also that, therefore, decreases our absorption rate for nutrients and minerals, which are the building blocks of hormones and lots of other things in our body, therefore unbalanced in our hormones specifically that we're talking about this week. So another thing with different toxins, they can be endocrine disruptors. So let's talk about that. And that's kind of something that you might have heard of because it's becoming more of a popular topic, let's say, because it's a really big deal, especially when it comes to our hormones. So things like plastics and processed foods and synthetic fragrances, think about like candles and Glade plug-ins and Febreze, like these actually cause harm to your body, specifically your hormones, because a lot of these contain something that's called something that is called xenoestrogens. And basically this is just think of it as sort of a false estrogen. And so when we consume, processed foods, when we're constantly around synthetic fragrances, when we consume foods that are maybe heated in plastic and that leaks into our food or maybe our beverage, our water, and that's kind of the problem too. Aside, I just thought about this, a lot of us drink bottled water, and at some point that plastic has been heated in the hot temperatures, and that plastic leaks into the water. Obviously, we think we're drinking water that is very good for us. Water is good for you, but just think about where your source of water is coming from. I know you can't always control that, but that is one more way that you get these. So I just wanted, if you drink bottled water all the time, that's all you drink, I just want to encourage you to kind of think about this and think, how can you get fresh, clean water, especially when you're at your house, a different way. So when we consume all of these things that have these xenoestrogens in them, which xenoestrogens are toxins, but they mimic estrogen in our body. And what this does is it really causes our body to think we have enough estrogen in a short form. I'm trying to kind of give you the bird's eye view of this. So when our body thinks we have enough estrogen, our body doesn't produce estrogen, and therefore we have estrogen imbalance. And also these xenoestrogens are a lot stronger than natural estrogen. Just like sometimes synthetic fragrances are a lot stronger than natural fragrances. Let's just think about it like that. That's exactly how it is in your body too. And so they kind of overtake your hormonal balance and overtake your estrogen that's produced naturally. And a lot of things happen because of that. Synthetic fragrances in general, they are truly to me, that's probably the strongest form of these xenoestrogens, because when we breathe them in, when we put them on our skin, as far as with like scented body products, when we use facial products, anything that we put on our skin is going to be absorbed into our bloodstream. And if it has these various things in it, it's directly going to go in our bloodstream and work that way. And so to me, that really is like, that to me is the easiest place that you can start, is to just simply start by buying, and I'll go into this a little bit more, I'm kind of skipping ahead, but buy unscented products. Like that's literally the easiest thing that you can do, especially like body products. Guys, you've got to skip the Bath and Body Works. Like this is not helping your health, and you're spending money on things that are actually very caustic to your health, when you really could avoid that altogether. Like even if you went down to CVS and just bought some unscented lotion. I know you like scent. I love to add essential oils into my lotion. It's a very easy fix, and to me, our skin is our largest organ, and so if you're just constantly slathering synthetic fragrances all over your body, like these are the things that are going to happen over time. I'm not saying if you do that one time, these things are going to happen, like right then. It's just additive over time, because our body has a hard time getting rid of these things. And we're going to kind of talk about that in just a minute. But let me go back to what I was discussing about xenoestrogen. So when you have a hormone test as well, like if you go to the doctor and have a hormone test, a lot of times your estrogen might look low, but you actually have too much estrogen because your body has thrown this off. And so xenoestrogens don't show up on the test. So I think that's on the test that you might get. So it's kind of a false sense of what's going on in your body. And cancer, honestly, is one of the most discerning things that comes out of estrogen dominance. So it's not only that you're having these symptoms, PMS, hot flashes, cramps, all of these things, night sweats, all of those things come out of imbalanced hormones, but cancer can lead to that if they are not imbalanced, and if all these toxins and things continue to stay built up, like your body literally just can't handle it. And also, you think about girls getting their cycles a little bit sooner than maybe my age, however long ago that was, 25 years ago. They just get them way sooner because there's so much more of a presence of these estrogens, and they really throw off their body at a young age, and it just continues to happen. So they'll continue to have cycles that are spotty, or they are longer, or they're heavier on their body, harder on their body, excuse me. So all of these things will continue to happen if some of this isn't kind of gotten under control, and we seek to sort of eliminate toxins from our environment and from the products that we use every single day. And I just think about all of the things that we can control. So let's talk a little bit about that. Now that we know how bad it can be on our body and why we should try to do this, what steps can we take? Like, obviously we want to try to remove some of these, like that's pretty obvious. So let's talk about it. So plastics, I mentioned plastics. Just try to change over your plastic containers to glass. That's a really easy thing you can do. And I don't mean like all at one time. You don't have to do it today, throw out everything and go out. I mean, those things are more expensive. I totally get it. But hey, over time, pick up a glass container here, throw out a plastic container there. And one thing that I can give you some advice on, if you only have a few glass containers, don't heat things in plastic. Think about that. Think about when you heat plastic, it kind of expands, and so it kind of releases some toxins, and that's going to get into your food. So just think about if you were to put something in the microwave, like never put plastic in the microwave. Like that's one tip I can give you. If you have one glass container, heat your food in that, or heat it on the stove or whatever it might be, but do not heat plastic up because it's going to leach into your food. But over time, try to just store your food more so in glass than plastic. That's one easy thing you can do. Processed foods, I mentioned that. What's the fix to this? Eat less processed foods, cook more, enjoy more real foods. We talked more about that in the diet day. That was day 2. But just in general, try to eat less from a box and more real food. Fragrance, we just mentioned that. Like I said, try to buy unscented products. Try to just really skip the Bath and Body Works. Skip all of that. Like literally, that is so bad for your health. And I know it's just one piece of the puzzle, but to me, that is something that's so avoidable. Like you just literally, I understand you like scent, but like just don't do it. Like all the girls that like younger girls, like I was saying, their cycles are all messed up, and they love those types of things. And I'm not trying to take away things that they love, but I'm like, this is one thing that's really easy to me to fix. I love to get unscented lotion and put essential oils in there. You think about all the beauty products that go along with this. Just try to look for cleaner options. EWG is a great website that I want to share with you. They have an app as well if you've never heard of them. They're called the Environmental Working Group, and you can go and scan any product, any cleaner, any hair care, facial care, body care, anything like that. You can scan the product and it'll give you a rating. And so the lower rating means it's less toxic and better to use. And so that's just a really easy way that you can begin to look at what you have and see how you can make it a little bit better. And again, none of this is like go out and throw out everything and then spend all this money to replace everything. You can totally do that, but that's not how I did it. I just tried to slowly look at these things and slowly replace them. So that's what I would encourage you to do. Next is cleaners. So again, look for better options that are just less toxic. Again, you can use the EWG app or the website to go in and type in the product and see what rating it gets. I'm gonna post a graph for you in the Facebook group on a few things, especially if you're trying to look at this yourself and you're trying to look at labels, which is kind of confusing, but a few things that you definitely want to avoid. So I'm going to be posting that a little bit later this morning. Clean water, I mentioned that. Again, if you drink out of bottles a lot, especially like if you're at home and all you drink is bottled water, I would just try to reconsider that maybe because of what I said before. It's been heated up at some point, and so there's more than likely there's probably chemicals or toxins in that water. And obviously water is so much better than something like a soft drink or, things filled with sugar, and I totally get it. We do as best we can, but I'm just trying to help you understand these things so that even if you got like a brittle water pitcher, I mean, that would be better. It would. And just try to think about how you can get filtered water in a different way rather than just bottles all the time. And one thing I just wanted to mention, and I will post this in the Facebook group as a link, if you are looking to kind of upgrade this and you want to spend a little bit more money than just like a brittle water pitcher, I'll post a few options for you. One of those is called a Berkey, and it's one that's very popular, and you fill up the top with water and it filters so many different contaminants out of your water and leaves you with clean drinking water or cooking water. So that's probably about a $300 investment, but if you're really looking to make that, I think that's a really great investment to make. So I'm going to post a link for that in the group, but you can look it up. It's called a Berkey. Okay, so lastly, I talked about processed foods, but there's also real food, fruits and vegetables, but they're conventional. They're sprayed with pesticides. Again, those are toxic to us. They are known carcinogenic toxins, and I know that we're doing the best we can, and I want to acknowledge that. I would much rather see you buy something that is real food rather than processed food, and it just be conventional. It'd still be sprayed with pesticides, but yet it's so much better. And it has nutrients and it's alive rather than being in a box. So at a basic level, I want you to know that. But if you can afford, or if you have availability to locally grown food or organic food, it's just so much better than buying conventional produce and fruits and vegetables and things like that. So I just wanted to mention that. Also, meat is another thing that you can get higher quality that, if you buy conventional, not pastured or grass-fed meat, it is going to have some of these things in there. So, we can always do better. We can always look to take the upgrade in these various things, but I just wanted to mention them. Okay, so what can we do to detox? Detox is something that, yes, we can try to eliminate our toxins in all of these things, but we're still going to have buildup. We're still going to have things in our environment that we really can't control very much. And so detox to me is one of the ways that I've seen the most shift in my personal health is to do detoxes. Now, I started out by doing like one detox a while ago, and I didn't realize how much it was going to change. And then I was like, wow. So now I do them about once every quarter, possibly even more than that, depending on what's going on. But this is a way that you can really give your digestive system a break and allow it to catch up, allow your detoxification pathways to catch up. And that's really what is backed up. If we're constantly spending all our energy, maybe in stress, maybe in improper digestion, and we're digesting all of our food, that takes up energy. And so the other energy that could have gone to detoxification of all of these things is now kind of halted because our body just doesn't have enough energy to do that. So taking a detox kind of break to allow our body, maybe we're eating different foods that are really easy to digest so that our energy can go to something else, to detoxing something else. And so I just wanted to make sure that you understood that's really what the purpose of a detox is. So let's look at estrogen, for instance, like specifically. So when you have estrogen in your body, once your body's done with it, like it flushes it out. Estrogen just doesn't stay in your body. It's like something that you use and then your body wants to get rid of it. And there's two different phases of detoxes. Not only estrogen goes through, but everything that we detox goes through. And one is in the liver and one is in the intestines. So that's why often you'll hear that you need to increase your liver health because that's going to help your body detox. But if you're stuck, I say stuck, like if any of those pathways, I call them detoxification pathways, if any of those are backed up, it's kind of like this. Okay, say you're in your nice bath. I love to take a bath. Maybe you like a clawfoot tub, let's say, and you're in this tub and When you take a bath, you unplug the drain and all the water goes out. That's usually what happens. But what if that drain has a clog in it? It's going to back up, right? That's kind of what happens when one of our pathways is blocked or clogged for some reason. Maybe it's toxin buildup, maybe it's something else. We can't fully release all that we need to. And so that's exactly what a detox helps us to do, is to open up those pathways and kind of get all of that out of our body and help our body to really do what it's trying to do. It's always trying to detox, but if one of those pathways is clogged, it really can't. And I also want you to think about this in terms of weight loss too, because I hear this a lot. I can't lose weight. I'm doing all that I feel like I should be, that you guys are telling me to do, whatever. Or maybe it's just I can't lose weight as easily as I could have. Okay, so here's the thing. Whenever we ingest these toxins in whatever way, through our skin, through our mouth, whatever it might be, and our body recognizes that those are foreign. And so it wants to get rid of them. Sometimes it can, sometimes it can't, but it needs to get them away from our vital organs, because our body's always trying to keep us alive. And so what it does is it stores it in a fat cell. All of these different, whatever, I went through all of them, any of those things, if it can't get rid of it, it's going to store it in a fat cell and kind of tuck it away, because it's trying to, again, keep us alive, keep those things away from our vital organs. And so over time, what does that do? It makes the weight harder to lose. We gain extra weight, and we have a hard time losing it. If you were to try to clean up some of these toxin overloads that we have that I mentioned, try to clean up your lifestyle a little bit, do a detox to try to open up your pathways to get these things out, you're going to see weight loss over time, because your body is coming back to a balance, and some of these fat cells are going to be released, and these toxins are going to be released, and you're going to hold on to less weight over time. And I've seen people lose a good bit of weight on a detox, depending on how long it is. But obviously, you're going to need to change your lifestyle after that to kind of keep it off. It's not necessarily you do a detox and you just lose the weight and keep it off. That's not necessarily always the case, but I wanted to mention that because that's exactly what happens when we have this toxin buildup. So that's a little bit in a nutshell what toxin overload can do and how to detox. Now, I wanted to mention too, my sister and I over at Natural Shift, we really believe in a quarterly detox. And so we have two different ones. I just wanted to mention those, and I'll post more about them in the Facebook group. But I think I already posted about one of them, but I'll refresh your mind again about it. So we first came up about 4 or 5 years ago. It's been a while now. We've been running biannual 7-day detox or cleanses. And this is just, again, a way that you can give your body a break from digestion so that it can catch up on other things. So we eat a lot of blended foods. We eat all vegan foods, just to give ourselves a break, because, not that various foods are bad. It's really just the energy that it takes to digest these foods. That's what we're trying to give ourselves a break from. So we run those twice a year, and the next one is coming up in August if you guys want to join us. But you can always do any of these at any time. We also run a 30-day reset. We call it a 30-day reset, and it's a way that you can, again, give your body a break from a lot of inflammatory causing foods that create stress on the body, and hopefully allow your body to detox from that. So I just wanted to mention those things. And obviously, with the removal of toxins, essential oils have been super key in this for me. And so I'm going to post a few things on, the various things that I mentioned as far as cleaning or fragrance or things like that. Some of the ones that, if you don't have any in your home, that will be a really great way to get started with that. Or if you do, various things that you can do with them to decrease your toxic load. So I'll be posting those a little bit today and some tomorrow too. But I wanted to thank you for joining me for day 4. And I'm actually going to be back for a little bonus tomorrow to kind of put it all together and help you realize how this is all one big picture, ways that you can take steps in each area. I'm kind of just do a wrap up of that and kind of a condensed version of that, and then tell you in the future how I'd love to work with you on this. So thank you so much for joining me. Go back and review the other days if you haven't. Let me know if you're watching by commenting below if you're watching live or if you're watching the replay. Also tomorrow I'm going to share my story. I have not done that yet. I mentioned another day that it just slipped my mind. I have such a great story when it comes to hormones, and so I say great. It's a story that's very personal to me, and so I'm going to share that tomorrow. and I'll be back live tomorrow. Hey, and so I'll be back in the morning tomorrow as well because my kiddos will be at home with me, and so I'm trying to do these before they're up so that I can have a little peace and quiet with you guys. But I'll be back tomorrow morning and just to kind of wrap everything up. But please let me know if you have any questions at all. I'll be happy to answer them and how I can help you with anything. All right, guys. See you later. Bye, everybody.